Today, I want to talk to you about the time I was $20,000 down, okay? 20 G's in debt. I'm going to grip it and rip it. I don't know. I think my internet connection is a little fuzzy here. Look, check it out. I'll talk about how I went from 20,000 in debt all the way to pretty much no work membership clubs. Uh, you know, what I decided was I was going to write an article on Substack every single week. And it's going to be like that weekly newsletter. And this was the topic of the newsletter. And every once in a while, I have an idea. And the thing is, when I started a brand new business on Substack, Easy Start Memberships here. By the way, you should subscribe to Easy Start Memberships. But when I started Easy Start Memberships a few weeks ago, they took away my ability to do live streams, right? And that was a big part of what I wanted to do for content was live streams. But when they took it away, I kind of like reworked what I was doing. And I reworked it to not deal with live streams. So when I got live streams back, last week, I was like, man, this doesn't really fit into my little plan for Easy Start Memberships anymore, but I still want to do live streams. How can I fit it in? So what I decided today was I just figured this out. Well, I do a weekly newsletter to the subscribers of Easy Start Memberships. And this weekly email, I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the email, the newsletter that I write every week to Easy Start Memberships. I'm going to read it. All right. And the beauty of it is like, because I'm essentially reading this, but I'm kind of reacting to my own newsletter. So you'll probably, listening to this or watching this video, you'll probably get more insights than what I even wrote about, just because I'm right here on the call. And especially if you tune in live, and we're going to do this every Wednesday, okay? Every Wednesday we're going to do this because I write a new one every Wednesday. And if you tune in live here, you'll have a chance. You can ask me questions. So that'll go even deeper than what I wrote. All right. So I thought, hey, let's give it a shot and see how it goes. We'll try it today. I'm going to read my article. And then when I'm done reading it, I'll embed it in the actual article itself. And yeah, it'll be all good for people who like to watch videos and like to listen and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do. So to get into today's episode, today's newsletter, from $20,000 in debt to no work membership clubs. How did it happen? Okay. I'm going to read. I wrote this. I'm going to read, and I might, put a couple of extra tidbits in here for you. Okay. Because we're reacting to this stuff here. I once had about $20,000 in credit card debt. Yeah. This was back during my first marriage. We were both young and we didn't know how to handle money. That's an understatement. That is the understatement of the year. I could go so far deeper into that, more deep than you would care to hear. I'm sure. But yeah, we did not handle money. Eventually, I signed up for a credit consolidation service and everything. Slowly, but surely, I got those credit cards paid down. It wasn't easy, but it got paid off eventually. Okay. What do I remember about that time? And what does it have to do with what I want to talk to you about today? All right. Well, first, I want to talk about the subject of benefit. All right. That's the point of this article. That's the point of this live stream here. Okay. By the way, I'm sure I will put this live stream on YouTube. I'm sure I will put it on Facebook. So when I do, okay, I want you to get over to Substack. Find me on Substack. It's just all you got to do. It's very simple. Just go to easystartmemberships.com. That's going to take you right to my Substack, easystartmemberships.com, and join me on Substack, man. Subscribe to me on Substack. Get your free copy of my 14-day Easy Start Membership Roadmap, okay? You're going to love it. It's not going to cost you a dime. I'm not going to leave it free forever either, by the way. It's supposed to be $10, but for now, it's going to be free. Okay, so the subject is benefit. That's the point of the article. Okay, benefit. That word is literally the foundation of everything membership clubs are based on. Okay, if you get this part right, everything else falls into place. Okay, absolutely true. 100% true. Benefits the foundation of every good membership club. Okay. But back to my debt. All right. We're taking it back to the 20 G's in debt, man. I was crying. What do I remember about that time? I remember very clearly the reckless spending with my first wife and the slow descent into the debt trap. Before you know it, you're in a pit, and by the time you realize it, the walls feel too high to climb. That's what happened. And I don't want you to think that I'm saying, I'm not blaming it all on my first wife, okay? I'm not blaming it. We were both very irresponsible with money. And, it just got out of hand and crazy. Before I knew it, it was 20 G's in debt and it was bad. I remember feeling the pressure every single day to get that debt paid down. I remember that pressure every single day. What else do I remember? Let me keep on reading. I remember when the credit card companies sold my debt to the debt collectors. See, that's the thing about the credit card companies. A lot of people don't realize this, but the debt is an asset. Like the debt itself, like you owing someone money is an asset. They can sell that asset to somebody else. The debt is actually an asset they can sell. It's interesting. So the credit card company sold my debt to the debt collectors. And I remember the debt collectors calling me relentlessly, ringing our phone every single day, ringing it off the hook. Now, this was back in the year 2000, okay? People still had home phones back in the year 2000. Truth be told, I still have a home phone now, okay? We're old school. We still have a home phone. My wife has a cell phone. I have a cell phone, but we still have a home phone with an answering machine still, believe it or not. I don't see the need to always move forward with the times. Some things were just fine the way they were. I think answering machines are great. So anyways, but the point is, this was back in the year 2000. I remember feeling as though the debt collectors were the enemy, okay? And I remember feeling trapped and annoyed by their persistence, okay? But as I said, slowly, surely, those credit cards got paid down, okay? And you know what they say? This too shall pass. And it did. It did. But it was a rough time, all right? It was a rough time in my life. A few years later, my then wife, she decided she was going to start cheating on me, okay? While I was working nights at the community hospital, all right? Here I am going to work 7P to 7A, and like my then wife is out there running around. It's unbelievable. And I was so gullible. When I found out, like, I'm not even going to go into it. I was very stupid. I won't go into it too much, but just to say it was another bad time, and my then wife became my ex-wife. After that, well, unfortunately, after that, it was another deep dive into debt. This time it was around 2006, and I was telling myself, it's fine. It's fine. She left. No big deal. Whatever. I'm cool. But honestly, I think I was having trouble like wrapping my mind around this idea that I had spent almost a decade of my life with this person, building this relationship that kind of just self-destructed, okay? It seemed like, in my mind, it felt like I had wasted my 20s, all right? I had sacrificed quite a bit for the relationship, and I wasn't getting any of those opportunities back. And you start kind of realizing some of the opportunities you have when you're young, when you waste them, like you don't get them back, man. Some opportunities come along once in a lifetime, and that's it. When it's over, it's over. And I was having trouble wrapping my mind around that. But I told myself back then it was fine. I was in a bit of denial, I guess. And if you just talked to me on the street, you wouldn't have known that I was having these issues. I would have seemed totally put together. But it did show through in little ways, okay? Like I had this habit back then of not opening my mail. I remember this very clearly. For a couple years. I just didn't open my mail. It would come and I would just throw it in the corner. And I had a pile of mail in the corner that wasn't opened. I'm talking about electric bills. I'm talking about letters. I'm talking about mail. A lot of the stuff was important. I just didn't open it, right? So I just stopped opening it, right? It gathered in a pile in the corner of my living room, okay? And then I had this habit. I had this thing where I got rid of all my furniture, okay? I know that sounds really crazy and weird, and it is weird. But I had this thing where I didn't want my house to look like a home. I didn't want it to look like a home So I got rid of my furniture. It was very weird, but it happened. Um, and then there were the credit cards, right? I surmounted more debt in this time of my life, not as much as before. Okay. Before it was like 20 G's. Well, this time it was more like seven. Okay. I surmounted about 7 grand in debt, just buying just buying random things. Okay. Random things, a guitar, an amplifier, just random things, video games, whatever, just stupid stuff I would buy, and I accrued about 7 G's in debt around this time of my life. What do I remember about that time of my life? Okay, I remember not caring too much. It wasn't like before when I felt the pressure of the debt collection. Okay, this time I felt like the world and the rules of the world had betrayed me. Isn't that what like we're supposed to do? We find someone who we care about, we get married, we have a happy life, and we pay our bills, and we go to work, and we live a good upstanding life. I felt like that kind of that idea, that concept had betrayed me, and the way it went down, like, man, I was having trouble wrapping my head around what had went down. Um, so yeah, I felt like the world, and the rules of the world have betrayed me. So I stopped worrying about anything at all. I didn't worry about that 7 G's in debt. It did not affect me whatsoever. But long story short, eventually I got the debt paid down. I got that debt paid down too. Eventually I met my now wife, the mother of my kids. Eventually, I got fired from my job and went back to college. And eventually, I started my own business. Okay. Now, that's a lot of summarizing. Okay. We could go way deep into those stories, but I don't want to go into them today. That's not the point of this article. But everything did work out in the end. Okay. It's hard to see it when you're going through it. All right. But eventually, it all worked out in the end. I'll tell you something else. If you're struggling out there right now and you're going through it, let me tell you something. It'll work out in the end. You just got to keep on trucking. You just got to keep on moving. Keep on moving. Keep your head up. You can get through this stuff. But anyways, my impression of credit card companies was poor from all those experiences. Okay. They were the evil empire who profited from my misery. Like, of course, I failed to notice that it was all self-inflicted misery. I'm the one who ran those credit cards up, not the credit card companies. Now, you could argue that, they have some predatory practices or whatever, but listen, I'm the one who did it. No one put a gun to my head and, swiped all those credit cards. And it wasn't until much later, after I had already started my second business and looking to start my third membership club, after multiple product launches, a bunch of affiliate marketing, and acquiring a bit more experience, that I started to see credit card companies a little bit differently. I started to see them in a different light, a genius light, right? So when I was going to start my third membership club, I faced the problem. See, the first two membership clubs that I had started, they were based on a simple idea, right? The exclusive content model. That's what my first two membership clubs were based on. The exclusive content model. What is that? So basically every month I would put 5 to 8 new pieces of content in my club. And it was fairly successful. Okay. I always had something to talk about because I was always putting new stuff in my membership club. So I always had something to talk about to sell the membership club. But the problem, okay, what was the problem? The problem was I was doing a lot of stuff, guys, a lot of stuff. I was doing product launching. I was doing affiliate marketing. Okay. I was selling physical books on Amazon. I was doing Amazon KDP. I was doing recipe books and public domain stuff. I was running 2 membership clubs, and 2 YouTube channels. I mean, look, guys, I had created this self-made prison of my own design. All right. I was suffocating in my own opportunity. I know I'm a poet, right? Suffocating in my own opportunity. Can you believe it? It was true, though. That's exactly what was happening. I was suffocating in all the opportunity, and sure, like, I was good at making money. That's true. I was good at making money, but I was working myself to death, okay? I had no time for my family at all. I mean, I thought I started working for myself so that I would have time for my family. What kind of ridiculous irony is this? The feeling of being stretched pretty thin It was very high at this point in my life, all right? So, what did I do next? I'll tell you exactly what I did. At this and this took some courage, okay? I'm not gonna beat around the bush with you here on this. I'm not gonna, meander around, sugarcoat it, I should say. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It took some courage. I started a new business and I closed down the other two businesses. It took guts, all right? It's hard to close down something that's working, but this new business, I was going to launch a product every single month, a digital product. And this third membership club I was going to start, I needed it to be easier than the other two because I figured if I'm going to be launching a new product every month, I don't have time to do a bunch of stuff in a membership club too, man. I'm going to be replacing the other suffocating opportunities that I had for a new suffocating opportunity. I mean, very quickly things build up and pretty soon you have no time left, right? So I didn't want that. I needed it to be easier than the other two. I didn't want any extra work. So how did I accomplish that? How do you start a membership club with no extra work? All right. That was the whole thing. So what did I do? I took inspiration from my old enemies, the credit card industry. Finally, these guys would actually be helping me instead of causing me misery. Look, here's how it goes. And here's the genius of the credit card companies. All right. The credit card companies are a master at leverage. All right. Credit card companies, they're a master at leverage. They have one product. It's a line of credit. All right. It's a simple line of credit. I'm trying to read this article to you guys that I wrote this morning. And I see Big Andrew Paletto on the call. What is up, man? How you doing? I was talking to Andrew the other day. He's got a lead magnet he's been working on, and I was talking to him about it, and it looks pretty good, man. You got some good stuff going on there. Andrew, you should plug your website, man. Plug your website in the comments, man. If you type it, I'll plug it here when I'm talking. So, anyways, what was I saying? Membership clubs, okay? Credit card industries. How do they tie together? What was I saying? Focus, Cam, focus. Look, with the credit card companies, they're genius because they have one product. It's a line of credit that they basically extend to you. And yet they leverage that product, that one product. They leverage it for multiple streams of income. Okay, consider this. Interest income, okay? Back in 2020, the interest that credit card companies earned, the amount of money the credit card industry earned on interest, just from charging interest to the customers, was $76 billion, okay? But that's not all. That same line of credit, they double dip, right? Because they charge merchants, the stores that accept the credit card, they charge them a processing fee. They call that interchange income, okay? $51 billion in interchange income back in 2020. All right. So that's almost double. That's almost double. They almost double. Think about it. They almost doubled their income. They didn't create any more products. It's the same product. Okay. It's the same product. They just realized that the benefit they provide, the benefit that their one product provides, serves more than one group of people. It serves the customers over here, but it also serves the merchant over here. You know why? Because the more ways that you can accept payments as a store or as a place that does business, the more money you're going to make. Now, I know this firsthand, okay? I used to only accept PayPal as a processor, okay? When I took on Stripe as well, I increased my revenue by 35%, right? So you accept more ways of payment and you make more money. Well, the credit card companies are masters at figuring out all the ways that their product can help other people, right? So they started charging this interchange fees for merchants, right? And they doubled their income. What else? What about cash advance fees? $17 billion in 2020. Just for giving people the ability to borrow against the line of credit, cash advance. They added an additional $17 billion that year, the credit card industry. Annual fees, just for the right to use the credit card, getting charged an annual fee. They add an additional $13 billion in 2020, okay? Penalty fees, when you're late, $12 billion. an enhancement income, basically services that come with a user's card available through it, like insurance products, stuff like that. They add an additional 7 billion from adding on these little enhancement things, right? So, I mean, think about that for a second. They literally earn only half their income by what they charge the customer and interest for that line of credit. Okay. Just half, right? So the other half comes from creative ways to leverage that exact same product, creative ways to leverage the benefit their product provides. Now, to me, that was genius. And when I thought about that, as it relates to membership clubs, like that was my answer. That was my answer. Same work, different product, double the money. So I started to realize something. Membership clubs are not about content, okay? They're about access to some fancy, they aren't about content. They aren't about access to some fancy software. By the way, if you're just joining or you're watching this on replay, I want you to know I'm just doing a simple read through of the newsletter that I just wrote for Easy Start memberships. I do a newsletter every single Wednesday for Easy Start memberships, okay? And I just started this thing today where I do a live stream and I read through the newsletter that I just wrote. We talk about it. We just talk about it. So if you're watching this is like the deluxe. This is like the deluxe edition of the DVD, okay? That's what this is. But anyways, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this on Facebook, get over to my Substack, okay? EasyStartMemberships.com. All right, get over there and subscribe. I'll give you a free copy of my 14-day Easy Start Memberships roadmap. All right, so get it. All right, so look, membership clubs are not about content. They're not about access to some fancy software. Big Andy Lehman in the house. What is up, my friend? Good to see you guys. So they are not about access to some fancy software. They are not about content. They are about benefit and benefit alone. All right, just like the credit card companies. I needed to be aware of the benefit I am providing. I'm reading the newsletter I just wrote to everybody. I'm just trying to read it off and provide some commentary for you guys. Afternoon, Andy. Provide some commentary to you guys on this newsletter I wrote. So anyways, so just like the credit card companies, I needed to be aware of the benefit I am providing. And if I don't want to do any extra work for my new membership club, because that's where I was on my third membership club, I didn't want to do any extra work. I was going to launch a product every single month. I didn't want to do any extra work. How can I have a membership club? How can I install continuity into this new business and not like be worked to death? Because I'm already like focusing on these launches every month, right? I needed to find a way to leverage the benefit I was already providing, just like the credit card companies. So what did I do? I'll tell you what I did. I started a discount club, okay? I was already committed to launching a new product every month. Instead of stacking on my work for me with extra content in a membership club, can you imagine? We're focusing on a launch every month and adding like 5 to 8 pieces of exclusive original content for a membership club? No way, dude. I already don't have any hair. Like, what am I going to do, man? I've already got this uneven receding hairline. Like, what am I going to do? Like, make that even advance even faster by like working myself to death? No thanks. All right. So why not start a discount club where the membership would get my new product at a reduced rate, right? The members would get my new product at a reduced rate. It's easy, right? So they would get my new product at $10 a month. I'm going to release a new product every month. They're going to get it at $10 a month, while the public is going to pay $15 for my new products. And on top of that, they're going to get that product earlier than the public. So it was a simple membership club, and that required no extra work on my part. I was already creating the products. All I have to do is give it to my members, a couple days earlier, and, they're paying like $10 a month instead of the $15 that I charge for the product when it comes out. Easy. I don't have any extra work. Now, what did I do? I installed continuity on a business without adding extra work, right? Very simple. So it's about the benefit. It's not about your content. It's not about some fancy software. It's about benefit and benefit alone. And that benefit can be anything that matters to your customer base, to your market, okay? So it was a simple membership club that required no extra work on my part. You see, the thing is, you can start a successful membership club and make a bunch of money, all right? You guys pay attention to this part, okay? And work your butt off, okay? I've done it. You can start a successful membership club and make a bunch of money and work your butt off. I know this because I did it. All right. Or you could start a successful membership club and make a bunch of money and not do anything extra at all. It's just easy double dipping. Okay. So that's something I learned from the credit card industry. And now it is something I am passing on to you. Focus on the benefit and leverage that. More juice for the squeeze. Again, that's it. All right. That's the newsletter. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you're not subscribed to my Substack, man, go ahead and get over to easystartmemberships.com. Subscribe to my Substack and get your free copy of my 14-day Easy Start Memberships Roadmap. It is, in fact, a video course you can get for free. And guess what? It's not going to be free forever, okay? Because it's supposed to be $10. All right. It was supposed to be $1 for the first month and then go to $10 when I came out with another lead magnet. All right. But I've changed it. Much like I do, I iterate all the time, with things, and we've adjusted it to where it's now free for a limited time. Eventually it will go to $10. I'm working on another lead magnet right now. And when that one comes out, this one will go to $10. So make sure you get it while you can get it. All right. So anyways, look, that's all I got. Hope you guys have gotten value out of this. Thanks so much for hanging in. Andy, Andrew, good to see you guys. And I'll catch up with you guys next Wednesday for another one of these. All right. Peace now.